Buenos días. Es el viernes y son las 12. Hello, everyone. It's Friday and it's 12 o'clock, so it's time for Community Spanish. Broadcasting 3 times a week, normally on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 12. This week was a little bit special since we had Veterans Day in the middle of the week, so there was no broadcast on Wednesday, so we just only have 2 Community Spanish for this week, but normally you see me on screen 3 times a week. In addition to Community Spanish, we also have Community Mandarin and Community French running. Community French going on Community French going on Tuesday and Thursday mornings at 8:30, and Community Mandarin going on Mondays and Thursdays at 12:30 p.m. So we have got lots of content to tune into, different languages to learn. In addition, we also have some programming going on Instagram Live for French and in addition to Portuguese. So we have even more languages available on our Instagram page. So I wanted to give one reminder before we get into today's lesson for Community Spanish, and that is that our December class schedule is now posted. So if you'd like to join a class, you're welcome to check out the options up on our website. And you can find all the different languages, different levels, course descriptions, schedules, pricing. It's all there. And if you need help to find the level that works best for you, you can also request an evaluation on our website. So on any of the class pages, you can find this evaluation request button. So you just let us know a couple of convenient times for you to chat with the teacher, and we can give you a recommendation to help place you in the right class. So kind of all the tools should be there if you would like to get into class for our last month in 2020. So without further ado, let's get into our Community Spanish lesson for today, which we'll be continuing on in our Repaso series, or our review series, where we're looking back at topics that we've been learning from the past few months and in my many videos, and just kind of reinforcing, making sure that we remember what we learned in the first place, and just kind of, again, that review is crucial if you're going to remember something and remember it well so you can actually use it when you need it. So we're going to be doing another practice exercise together today. And if you feel like you maybe need a little extra help, or if you missed the original video where we learned something in the first place, you're also welcome to, again, go back to our website, as I had the link up before, rolalanguages.com. On the Facebook Live page of our website, you'll find a list of all the videos we've made so far, so you can easily find what you're looking for in terms of topics. So if you need to kind of go back and learn something more originally first before you come to this review video, you're totally welcome to do that. So, but we're going to be continuing on with this review series in the idea that I'm going to expect that you have at least some knowledge of this topic, and so we're going to be proceeding, kind of more comfortably and doing the material together. And I'm going to not go into so much detail with each explanation, because I assume that you have learned this. So we're just going to just review together and do an exercise together. And please, I would like you to participate as much as you feel comfortable. So as I go through these questions that we work on together, you're welcome to put your own answers in the comments below and see kind of how you're doing and check with your work. And then I will feature anything on screen if it sees that your answers are coming out well. I'd be happy to share that in our video. So, por favor, escribe tus respuestas en los comentarios abajo. Please write your answers in the comments below if you'd like to. So let's get into our first question. So the objective of our exercise today is not only to do a translation, which is a great exercise in itself, having to put together different elements of your Spanish knowledge to be able to make a sentence, but specifically we're going to be focusing on a review of translations with colors. So we need to remember some color vocabulary, and it's not just the words for the colors themselves, but also keeping in mind certain grammar rules that sometimes we'll have to either make something singular or plural, feminine or masculine. So we have to, again, tie in all of our knowledge of what we've been learning here to make these translations. So it is a vocabulary exercise at the base, but there's definitely a lot of grammar elements in here too. So let's get to it. So número uno, so his favorite color is black. His favorite color is black. So here we need the words for favorite and color and black. We need the verb is. We need the possessive adjective his. So again, lots of elements coming together. So for his, we're going to use the word su, right? Su is for his or her or your in the formal usted way. And su, because we're talking about his favorite colors, is just one. So we want to find the singular, in kind of comparison to the word sus, which would be for a plural thing, but this is just one. So su, okay? And then, as we know in Spanish, when we have a noun and an adjective, like a thing and a describing word, in English, normally the describing word comes first and then the thing, like we have here's favorite color. So again, favorite describes color. In Spanish, we have to do the opposite. So here, instead of saying su favorito color, we should say su color favorito. Okay, su color favorito. And then we need the word for is, es. And then we have the color black, which in this case is negro. So this is when we have it just talking about the color in general, like we're not describing like it's a black cat or something like that. It's just talking about the color black. We're going to go with the singular masculine form. So that's why I'm using negro. But also we can also say that this word negro is describing color as well. And color is masculine singular. So tu color favorito es negro. Muy bien. That's número uno. Número dos. I don't like the color orange. I don't like the color orange. So here's where we have to bring in our knowledge of how to express like and dislike in Spanish because it's a little bit different than how we express in English. So I don't like is going to be no me gusta. No me gusta. Okay, and the color orange. So el color. Now there are two different words we can use for the color orange in Spanish. So we can either say anaranjado. Anaranjado is one way we can say it, but also many Spanish speakers would just say naranja, which is like the fruit, the orange. So we can use both of them here. Both of them would be correct. And so anaranjado is a word that we can change to be feminine or masculine, anaranjado or anaranjada. But for the word naranja, this is something that's always naranja. We don't add when using it in a color sense, we don't change it to be masculine or feminine. We don't change it to be singular or plural. So all together we get no me gusta el color naranja, or no me gusta el color anaranjado. Muy bien. Muy bien. That's número dos. On to número tres, the last one on this page before I scroll up to show you the next numbers. White houses are beautiful. White houses are beautiful. So again, just like we practiced with número uno, we have to make sure that the noun comes first and the color comes second. So first we're talking about the noun, which is houses. So we have to make sure to make that plural. So casas. Casas for houses, casas, and then the color has to agree with the thing it's describing. And so casas is plural, right? We already established that. And also, because the word casa ends with a, we can reasonably assume it's a feminine word. So we have to make sure that when we use the word for white, that we have to make it agree with what it describes, which is feminine and plural. So we're going to get casas blancas. Casas blancas, okay? And then are, son, and then we can use either the word bonito, lindo, hermoso. There are many words for beautiful in Spanish. I'm going to use bonito. And then again, like we just practiced, we have to make sure that everything agrees in gender and number. So I'm going to say bonitas because it's feminine and plural to describe the casas, to make everything agree with these casas. So casas blancas son bonitas. So make sure you have all those feminine plural elements in your sentence. Okay, número cuatro. Número cuatro, chocolate is brown. Chocolate is brown. So now, in this case, we're talking about el chocolate. When we're talking about like chocolate as a general category, we are going to use the definite article, el. Like I know in English we don't say the chocolate is brown, but in general, when we speak about topics in a very general sense, we will always use the definite article. So if we're saying like, I like music. Again, in English we don't say I like the music, but we're talking about like music in general as a topic. We would say la música, and this is exactly the same kind of thing here. So we're going to say el chocolate to describe chocolate in general. El chocolate es, and then we have two options for the word brown in Spanish, either marrón or café. So we have two different options in Spanish for the color brown. But the thing is, even though we have two different words for this, they both follow the same pattern in that they never change. So we don't add, we don't make it feminine. We don't add anything to make it plural. It's always marrón. And so there's only a couple of colors that are like this that are exceptions in Spanish where you don't change anything. And marrón or café is one of them. So we have to just keep that in mind. So in this case, we don't really notice it because el chocolate is masculine and singular. But if we had something that was feminine or something that was plural, we still would not change that. So, okay, on to número cinco. Número cinco, I like the color green. I like the color green. So before we had I don't like, so this is going to be an affirmative. I do like. So me gusta, okay. El color, and then the color for green is verde. Nice and simple. Me gusta el color verde. I like green. Me gusta el color verde. Número 6. Excelente. Número 6. I like yellow tomatoes. I like yellow tomatoes. This one, we're going to start with me gusta, but remembering that with gustar, which works a little bit differently than something like just straightforward, I like, what we're actually saying in Spanish is yellow tomatoes please me. So we have to make the gustar agree with tomatoes. And in this case, tomatoes is plural. So that's why we're going to say me gustan for this one, because it's describing the tomatoes. So me gustan, okay, los tomates, tomatoes. And again, when we speak about things in a general way, like we discussed in the past few ones, we're going to use the definite article. So that's how we end up with los tomates, because we're describing tomatoes in general. Like we had el chocolate, la música. Here we're going to use los tomates. And then we need to, for the color yellow, which as we've been doing goes after the thing it describes. And the word for yellow is amarillo, amarillo, or depending on your accent in Spanish, you can say amarillo, amarillo, amarillo. So depending on where you come from, there may be some different pronunciations for this. And so then we have to make sure this agrees in gender and in number with what it describes, which in this case are tomates, which is masculine and plural. So we have to make sure that our color is also masculine and plural. So in this case, it's going to be amarillos. So me gustan los tomates amarillos. Me gustan los tomates amarillos. Okay, número 7. Número 7. The ocean is blue. The ocean is blue. Starting with a little vocabulary for ocean. El océano. El océano. Es for is. And then blue, nice and simple, azul. Azul. This one is one where because it ends with L, we can't really change it based on the gender because there's nothing really to do. So it's just going to stay azul for if it's another singular masculine or feminine. So el océano es azul. Okay, tres más. Número 8. Okay, he is angry and his face is red. Okay, he is angry and his face is red. He is angry, so here's where we're going to need a little bit more of a vocabulary to make sure we remember the emotion word for angry, which we did, I think, pretty recently in another exercise. So we have él, okay, and then remember for emotions, we have to use estar, because hopefully he's not angry all the time. It's a temporary thing. So él está either enfadado or enojado. We can use either word. I'm going to use enfadado in my example. So él está enfadado. Y in his face, su cara está, because again, remember, this is a temporary thing. His face isn't always red. So, su cara está roja, because again, we're describing the face. So, and the face is feminine. So in this case, that's why we're not saying su cara es roja, because if we're trying to say like in general, like his face is always red, it's permanently red, then we would say es roja. But in this case, you guys are talking about like it's in a temporary emotion he's experiencing right now. So we're going to use está for both of them. So él está enfadado y su cara está roja. Okay, and his face is red in a temporary sense. Okay, número 9. The mouse is gray. The mouse is gray. So for mouse, the word for mouse in Spanish is ratón. Ratón. It's easier to get confused because we have rata and ratón. So rata is rat and ratón is mouse. So el ratón is gray. El ratón es, and then word for gray, this is another one like azul, because of the ending, it doesn't have a change if it's masculine or feminine, so we don't need to worry about it. El ratón es gris. El ratón es gris. Okay, last one, número 10. The flowers are pink and purple. So we have two colors to incorporate here. So the flowers, starting with the flowers, we have las flores, the flowers. And then again for are is going to be son, because we're speaking about them generally. Okay, if we were saying like the flowers are pink today, then we would use estar. We're talking about in general. These are in the permanent sense, these are pink and purple. So las flores son. Okay, and then we need for the word for pink and purple. So pink is rosa or rosado, depends on who you ask. We can use these two different words. So I'm going to use rosado. So I'm going to say las flores son rosadas, right? Because flores are feminine and plural. So we have to make sure that the colors also match with that. Las flores son rosadas. And then the word for purple, there are also several words for purple. We can use violeta, we can use morado, we can use púrpura. So I'm going to use morado. And so again, this one I'm going to need to make sure to adapt it to make it describe las flores. So I'm going to say moradas. So las flores son rosadas y moradas, making sure that they're both feminine and plural for the both of these adjectives. Okay, muy bien. So that's the end of this exercise. So I hope that you find that helpful to combine all of your Spanish skills here, putting together the grammar, the vocabulary. So if you'd like to check out some more exercises, you're welcome to go to our website on the Facebook Live page of the website. As I mentioned at the start of the video, you'll find links to all the videos in addition to many other practice worksheets. So if you want to reinforce your knowledge of what you learned over the video, you're welcome to check out those worksheets and also share them with anyone who you think they might be useful to. These are a public resource. We're giving them away for free. So there's kind of anyone is welcome to take a look at them and share them around as they see fit, as they find useful. So that's all for our Q&A Spanish today. I'll be back next on Monday at 12 for the we're into the third week, I think, of November. Yes, the third week of November. So we're going strong. Gracias y adiós.